Logan Paul. What can I say about this man that already hasn't been said? He is a problematic boner and probably one of the least responsible pet owners on Earth. Plus, he also created a South Park ripoff and airplane mode. And for some reason, I forgot that he cursed the world with this poor excuse of a movie. Airplane mode was a movie that was on an airplane. Wow, Logan, how original. This movie was crapped out by him and his brother with the help of the directors David Dincy. I don't know how to pronounce his name. And Dylan Trussell. This film was supposed to be released in 2017, but was delayed due to Logan being very controversial and literally almost cutting off his career at the time. For context, this movie was hyped up by Logan as the next American Pie and also was his debut as a screenwriter alongside his brother. Then this happens and the movie gets dumped on iTunes out of nowhere in 2019. And at that point, no one knew the movie came out until people on YouTube started to talk about how bad this movie is. And for the longest time, I've been avoiding this movie because when this movie came out, I was starting to give less of a shit about the guy. Today, I'm going to review Logan Paul's airplane mode to see how bad it really is. Is it really that bad, or is it just an underrated classic that no one understands? Well, let's find out. The story of this movie is that Logan Paul, his adopted brother Grandpa, and his friends are going to #Con, an influencer convention in Australia, the same country where his internet girlfriend lives. And at first, Logan doesn't want to go to #Con because he's afraid of flying because of something stupid that happened in his childhood. Then Grandpa convinces him to go so he can finally meet his internet girlfriend, and then Logan, Grandpa, and their friends go to the airport and they board their flight to Australia, which is the same flight that has prank tuber and criminal Vitaly. With spoilers for people who haven't watched this movie, Vitaly is the villain of this movie, with him being a parody of himself. Because I don't know if you noticed, but the guy is a fucking jackass in real life. Halfway through the movie, he breaks out and starts killing a bunch of people because, again, this is Vitaly. And after the pilots get electrocuted because of something stupid, Logan and this girl that he sat next to is now trying to land the plane while trying to fight Vitaly to stop him from killing anyone else on the plane. Then after this badass fight scene, Vitaly jumps out the plane and offs himself. I'm not kidding, he literally dies here. Then Logan and this random girl lands the plane, facing his fear of flying. After this, Logan doesn't meet up with his Australian girlfriend, but instead he wants to go and this chick because throughout all that madness, he fell in love with her. And I guess almost getting murdered by a crazy Russian man made him horny as shit. So they and that is the end of airplane mode if I left all the other stuff in it. So you see, this movie has multiple plots in it, meaning I can't really talk about this movie without people getting confused. So that part was just the main stuff that was going on. As for this part of the video, I'm going to be talking about the side stories, aka the B plots, the C plots, the D plots, the F plots. Damn it, quits and reviews, you got me doing this now! So to save some time and my sanity, I'm gonna try my best to briefly talk about these B-plots as best as I can. The B-plot of this movie is that Grandpa wants to lose his innocence. Yeah, that's literally the B-plot. So when him and Logan see the pilots are dead, Grandpa tries his best to get laid for Brittany Furlan, Tommy Lee's current wife and ex-Viner.
I'm sorry.
So after all of that, Grandpa and Brittany do not have relations. So Logan lets him have relations with his Australian girlfriend, and while with his brother's now ex-Australian girlfriend, Jimmy Star shows up, and while they're going at it, he chases Grandpa out of the house, and that's the end of his story. I'm not kidding, that's literally the same guy that played Jimmy Star. Like seriously, it's the same guy! The C story is that Michaela Hoover's character loses her baby while taking a nap. Also, that baby was not in a car seat, so this bitch is officially the worst mother on earth. Then, while looking for her baby, this weird 40-year-old man finds her baby. And instead of this man going off and trying to find the baby's mother like a decent human being, he just keeps the baby. And then by the end of the movie, he tries to give the baby's mother his cream corn. And that's just disgusting. Just give her the damn baby back, you creepy ass perv. The D plot is that this teenage girl and his grown ass man are
Logan Paul, you disgusting son of a bitch.
There's a lot of random that happens in this movie that I have no idea that it could be considered as a side story. And all the side stories suck here. It feels like I'm watching a 90s parody movie, but with Viners and iPhones inserted in. And it didn't feel like I was watching a good parody movie. The story is bland and the side stories are just too weird and out of pocket. And before I go in depth about the terrible and disgusting things I've seen in this movie, first I want to talk about the things I actually enjoy, just to give myself a break. The only main characters I enjoyed seeing on screen were King Batch and, ironically, Vitaly. King Batch was always one of the few ex-Viners I have respect for. Plus, he was one of the few people from Vine to make it out of this movie with a stable acting career. He appears a few times in this movie, and almost every single time he appears, that was the only time I smiled while watching this shit. And as for Tali, he's a bad person, but he's a great villain. He easily tricks all these influencers to go to this convention that doesn't exist. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but #con is not a real convention, obviously. And it was all a prank by Vitaly so he can kill all the influencers on board, which is bad insane. Why is he in this movie? Vitaly does a much better job than he needed to. This performance is like God tier. This movie did not deserve a A-tier villain. Plus, I like this scene where Logan and this random girl were trying to land a plane, so they watched a tutorial by some kid named Connor about how to land a plane. And that video was just a different vibe than the rest of the movie. Connor is literally just some little kid who probably wants to be a pilot when he grows up, and he probably read some of that stuff out of WikiHow or something. It's just so innocent and fun until his jealous ass sister Becky shows up entering the video like the jealous ass piece of shit she is. Oh, she even brings up the mom with a bogus lie. Bro, just let this boy make the video about planes. Just be glad he's not thinking about death. Connor is a very underrated character in this movie and we all know it. We need justice for Connor. He did not deserve this. And this. Yeah, didn't I mention by the end of the movie he meets Logan Paul and Logan Paul breaks his legs? Because I did not want to mention that the movie ends with Logan Paul committing child cruelty. If Logan Paul didn't break his legs but instead broke Becky's legs, the ending would have been so much better. It would have been wholesome as hell. Fuck you, Becky!
Okay, now I'm gonna transition to the part of the video where I get very critical about the things I really hate about this movie. I might come off as a bit mean, but just remember, this movie's bad. Whatever I say about women here, context is just, there's no good female characters in this movie. Seriously, this movie has no good female characters. They're all just bland and lame. And remember the reason why that is because this movie was made by two Ohioan boners.
One of which being infamous for being terrible to women. This movie has a lot of naughty humor, outdated references, and hell, they even scream on racist jokes cause it's a parody movie from the 90s and 2000s. But the problem is, it's not. It's a parody movie from the 2010s, aka the decade where people realized that old parody movies were racist as fuck. Every time there was a racist joke in this movie, I felt like turning off the movie and watching something else so I won't feel uncomfortable about myself. Same thing with the dirty jokes. Don't get me wrong, I love making dirty jokes from time to time, and he digs a boner. But this movie makes them so often that it becomes annoying as hell. I get it, Logan. You think gay is funny, okay, alright. I don't know what Logan was on when him and the rest of the writers were writing this shit. Because, how is incest funny? I guess it was funny when Community did it, but the thing was, in that episode, Garrett did not know that he married his cousin. And the joke was that he married his cousin. The incest joke they make here is with the daughter, mother, and father kissing each other like they're all in love, which is much worse than marrying your cousin. And let's be real, the incest episode of Community is the peak of incest jokes, and incest jokes are hard to do because the concept of incest itself is very, very disgusting. And their jokes are just as disgusting as the incest joke. For example, after pilots get electrocuted, one of the other pilots falls over, and when one of the flight attendants go in to check on them, she thinks one of the pilots is gobbling the other pilot's glizzy. And that is not even the worst dirty joke in the movie. The worst dirty joke in the movie is Logan Paul's mom accidentally sending Logan Paul naughty photos of herself. That is Logan Paul's real mom. I'm not kidding. I'm not showing it. I'm not going to show the scene. It's Logan Paul's real mom. Probably photoshopped on another old lady's body. I don't know what kind of person does that. Even if Logan paid some elderly actress to play his mom instead, this joke would still be disgusting. The fact that Logan thought of his mom being naked for his movie is funny is just wrong. Like Grandpa and Brittany having intimate relations. For context, Grandpa in real life was 20 around the time the movie was being filmed, and the film version of Grandpa was 17. While Brittany was 30 at the time, unlike Grandpa, Brittany and the other Viners and YouTubers that appeared in this movie were actually the same age as their movie counterparts at the time. So in this movie, if Logan and the writers made Grandpa his actual age at the time, this wouldn't be an issue, but this is a grown woman and a teenager almost having relations. That is a bit creepy. Other than Grandpa and Brittany, the other Viners and YouTubers that were advertised in the animated sequence rarely appears here. Especially David Dobrik, Roman Atwood, Casey Neistat, and Alex Wasabi. Oddly enough, David Dobrik only has 3 or 4 lines, and then after that just becomes a random background character. The scenes with Roman Atwood and Casey Neistat just feel wasted here. Casey Neistat plays a racist TSA worker, and this just feels wrong. I bet the only reason why he did this is because he probably lost a bet, or he for some reason just wanted to buy a new camera. I also think the same thing with Anwar Jabali. Almost every single time this man appears on screen, most of the white characters see him as a racist stereotype. And again, this movie was very uncomfortable, and those parts especially was the most uncomfortable. As for Logan Paul's friends, they're just there. Despite them being advertised in the opening credits of the movie as main characters, most of them play a role in the beginning of the movie, interrupting Logan Paul and his internet girlfriend from cornfielding to tell them about #Icon to get the movie going. And other than King Batch, I don't really like some of these people. Hell, I forgot some of them even existed. Yeah, that's right, I forgot Amanda Carney was a real person. Can you blame me? I think the worst person in his friend group is, unironically, Lele Pons. She always just breaks into his house to mess with him, and all of his other friends rarely appear after this, except for Brittany. You would think that King Batch and Lele Pons would be main characters, but no, they're not. I wouldn't mind this if Logan had fewer friends, but the friends don't make an impact or contribute to the plot in any other way. They just exist as an extended famous people cameo in the beginning of the movie, and then they become background characters like David Dobrik. His brother Grandpa, on the other hand, is just annoying. Again, his story is that he wants to lose his innocence. And I honestly feel bad for the guy in real life because I bet after this movie, a bunch of people thought he was a sad piece of shit whose only personality is that he's a virgin. In my opinion, if Grandpa was removed from the movie along with Logan Paul's friends, the movie would not change. It would still be a bad movie full of dirty racist jokes.
Are you looking at naked pictures on your phone?
No!
Yeah, you are.
No! I mean, yeah, I was, but it's my mom.
You're staring at a naked photo of your mom? I mean, yeah.
There's nothing interesting about this woman. She's literally just a pretty woman whose only purpose for existing in this movie is so Logan Paul can fall in love with her and cheat on his Australian girlfriend, who is also not interesting. You could literally replace her with a minion with boobs, and either way, the story would not change. And it's the same thing with Logan Paul because he's lame too. Logan Paul, to hear the movie, the lead character is just boring. Like seriously, he's like, it's me, Logan Paul. I'm scared of flying. I can do the splits. Me so horny. Me want Chloe Bridges. Yeah, that's the main girl's actress's name. You can really tell how bad this movie is because I remember the name of the actress and not the character she played. To be honest, I forgot half of these characters' names. Then I looked up the actors to see if there were better movies. And Chloe Bridges was in Camp Rock 2, The Final Jam, and a few episodes of Pretty Little Liars. You can say whatever you want, I know they're not masterpieces, but I'll much rather sit through the weird Camp Rock sequel and this crap instead of watching Logan Paul being awkward and horny. If this movie was a short YouTube skit like the ones that Logan used to make all the time, I wouldn't really mind some of the dirty jokes and some of the characters. But the movie is 80 minutes long, and Logan just filled it up with filler, hoping that it'll make the movie funnier. But ironically, that would be the thing that would bring the movie down to its absolute worst, creating possibly one of the most disgusting and one of the most abysmal viewing experiences I ever had. After the movie released in 2019, the company that produced the movie sued Logan Paul for $3 million. Because again, he was the reason why the film was delayed, and he's also the reason why the film's exclusive publishing deal with Google was suspended, with them believing that Logan's acts of stupidity in 2017 were deliberately done to sabotage the movie, and that Logan Paul should pay them for their losses. To be honest, Logan Paul deserved to get sued, but he didn't do those acts because he knew the movie was gonna be bad. He did those things because he's a stupid jackass. I know the Forest incident was pointed as the main reason as to why the movie got delayed, but I think other factors could have been at play here. At the time, or hell even now, Logan is very infamous for getting the drama and as well as getting into controversy. For example, the Handlebars music video, old racist tweets resurfacing, and the overall chaotic nature of his YouTube channel at the time. In my opinion, the Forest video was the final straw that broke the camel's back. And the way Logan responded was decent by today's standards, but then he slowly just stopped doing the chaotic vlogs and started a podcast, and now he still likes to make terrible decisions. But at least he learned not to film dead bodies on the internet. Since Airplane Mode, Logan Paul has stepped away from becoming an actor and trying to make movies, with his last attempt being a Flat Earther mockumentary in 2019. Ironically, the same year that Airplane Mode released. Was he just trying to distract us? So it's safe to say that Logan will probably never make another movie ever again. But he did make an NFT cartoon that ripped off South Park. Yeah, let's just stop getting this guy our attention and hope he doesn't try to make a movie again because this guy's messed up. For the best. We should also not let this guy anywhere near cryptocurrency in general.
It's finally the end of the video, and I regret watching this movie. This has been Umberto, and for the love of God, Logan Paul, please stop. For the love of God, just stop. And also remember to lock your doors and windows, because if you don't, Lele Pons is going to sneak into your house and she won't stop bothering you. Seriously, that happened to me once, and for dear God, she would not leave me alone. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.